And the AP Most Valuable Player presented by Invisalign is...
So with that being said, be good, do good, God bless, and go Bills.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel presented by Connors and Ferris. Dan Fade's here in studio. Mike Catalana at his mom's house in New Jersey.
I'm in the rec room. This
It's
place
beautiful.
This place was a battlefield when I was in high school. It's kind of so wild to be back here with the wood paneling.
But it had to be it had to be an emergency video because late last night, as you can see behind me, Josh Allen was named the NFL's MVP. Before we get into it, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the video. We really appreciate it. So, Josh Allen looks pretty good. He looks good in shorts. Looks pretty good in a suit with an MVP award next to him, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, that was an awesome moment, an awesome thing for the Buffalo Bills. Obviously, everybody would rather have him looking great in uniform on Sunday playing for the Super Bowl. We know that. But he looked great, sounded great. He and Haley are a heck of a couple. All pluses for 17. That was awesome for the fan base, awesome for the Pagulas, awesome for everybody involved in the organization. And most importantly, in that way, awesome for Bills Mafia. Gives you something to be really excited about.
Yeah, that's the open. Our friend Dom Tibbetts had video. He was at Southern Tier Brewing Company last night when the announcement was made. Fans going crazy. Again, the individual award is bonus by what success this team had. And I thought Josh said that very well in the speech. I thought I had a friend of mine who's not a Bills fan, a best friend of mine, texted me and was like, that was a perfect speech. Like, sounded like a leader, looked like a leader, all of those things. Were you, Mike, we were talking a little bit off camera in the studio before when you were kind of heading down. Were you surprised by any way that Josh was named MVP?
Yeah. I didn't think the voters had it in them. And I was listening to, it was like ESPN this morning, and I think it was like Chris Canty or somebody. And he was saying, well, I think the committee wanted to do one thing or another. Dude, there's no committee here. These are 50 individual voters. I do think there is a difference. It's like offensive player of the year was Saquon, right?
Yeah.
But MVP is a different vote. Lamar's awesome. We've talked about this. A great year, great numbers, all those things. I didn't think it was like, oh, it's Josh's turn. I thought what he did for this team was incredible. But was I surprised that they went one way in the AP and for the all pro team and then flipped it? And, you know, it's funny when I was thinking about it, I was like, okay, it was 30-18. And it ended up being, what, 27-23 in the votes? Because I think two of the other votes might have gone to Burrow in the AP first team. So it's not that many guys switching spots or people switching spots, but it was enough. And Lamar's great. He's got two. He'll probably win another one at some point. He's an incredible player. But I'm really happy for Josh Allen, who has been knocking on the door of this thing, and he got his.
Runner-up in 2020, runner-up last year. And my problem that I have with this, because I was watching ESPN2, Orlovsky was one of the voters, said he voted for Lamar for AP for the first All-Pro, and he voted for Josh for MVP. I don't know why people can't wrap their heads around, mainly I'm talking to you Ravens fans, that there is a difference between saying somebody had a better year and saying somebody had a more valuable impact on their team. And Dominic Foxworthy was like, oh, you're trying to split the baby. Yeah, they're two different awards. Like, what do we not see about that? Like, if it was just one award, and this isn't also the Heisman Trophy, where it's the most outstanding player. That's not what this is. And he's like, well, his value to Jeff Saturday coming from the clouds to be on ESPN said, and it goes, well, most valuable to the league? One, I don't know how many games Lamar played for other teams. Like, it's who's most valuable to your team. And two, it's the fact of the matter is that, like, we've said it before, storylines play into the narrative of MVP. It's why we had thought that Josh would have a chance this year if the team took off. Everybody said without Diggs and without all these pieces and the rebuilding year, and the Bills were going to take a step back. But if they did have success, Josh would have to be outstanding and he'd have to be so valuable to his team. And he was. So I'm kind of annoyed. I had bookmarked all kinds of Ravens tweets because I had tweeted out after I was in the hospital when Taylor was born and Josh scores the receiving touchdown.
Yes.
And I said at that point, I was like, it's over. And everybody, Ravens fans, got all in my case. And I had fun going back at them and just liking the tweet. So they knew that I had seen it and I had gone back there. And all of a sudden they're going, hey, who's liking this? Oh, it's that Dan Feets guy from Buffalo Plus. Yeah.
Hey, here's the way I also look at it too. The value of Lamar to the Ravens, the value of Mahomes to the Chiefs, the value of Josh to the Bills is off the charts. Like, I don't really care who the backup is. The drop-off is nonsensical, right? It's just the way it is with all three guys. So
correct.
And I'm picking those three to just say they're all incredibly valuable. Josh also, it's easy to just go into numbers, and he's had great numbers before. But look at last year. He had more turnovers, but also made a great run. But that team, we didn't even know if they'd make the playoffs until the final weekend of the year. Sort of like what hurts Burrow, because that team wasn't even in the chase. Bills ended up as a 2 seed, which is wild, but they almost missed the playoffs. Right. But the other part I look at it is saying, like, Josh Allen also went to Detroit and beat the Lions, the best team. He was the only one to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. And Broncos fans would agree with this. I love what the Broncos did this year, but they beat the Carson Wentz third stringers.
Agreed. The
only one to beat the Chiefs was Josh Allen. So, and he had those big moments on the biggest stage, which helps. And add into the fact that this was a step back year when you talk about narratives for the Bills.
Yep.
And you know, it's like we've said, hey, we love Mac Hollins, but he was your best deep threat. Khalil Shakir is a heck of a player, but nobody's taken him in the first 4 rounds of their fantasy league. I mean, it's just the team that he had around him. Add all those things together. Plus, he's been knocking on the doorstep. I don't feel bad for Lamar. He already has 2. He's a great player, but Josh Allen deserved the MVP. If you gave it to Lamar, I wouldn't say he didn't deserve it.
100%.
This was Josh Allen was the most valuable player for this season, for this team, and that's why he won.
Jenna talks about, NFL fans and NFL media having the attention span of a gnat. We could have had this same conversation last year, like when we were going, well, Josh has better stats than Lamar, but we understood that Lamar, through injuries on that team, carried them to the number 1 seed. Like, that's how this game works. And it's, again, I'm a little bit in my troll phase still. Last night I just couldn't. My wife's like, "You coming up to bed?" And I was like, "Hang on a second, I gotta fire off a couple more things." Like, because I was explaining to her too that, like, what I'm trying to explain to the basic football fan, which I can't believe you have to do, is understand that, like, yeah, Lamar statistically had a better year. Lamar also was phenomenal, but when you talk about value to your team, I don't see. And I guess I'm really proud of the voters to be able to understand that dichotomy and to see the fact of Lamar had a great year. He's the all-pro quarterback, first team. And also understanding what Josh accomplished and the way that his level of play was also at an MVP caliber status, that you can be the most outstanding, you can be first team, you can be the best quarterback, but you're not the most valuable player on your team. I don't know why that's so tough. And I love that Beauvais even kind of tweeted it. Our friend from KBW was like, they are 2 different awards. If they were the same award, we wouldn't have this conversation, but they are. And
I look at it this way. Saquon won most offensive player of the year. In many seasons, he easily could have been the most valuable player.
Yeah.
Right? Running backs don't normally get it. And also, I think it's unfair sometimes when people say it's become a quarterback award. Let's also look at it and say the quarterback's got the ball like every play. The game revolves around quarterbacks. The Eagles happen to be a team this year. While Hurts was good, Saquon is exceptional. And it maybe it isn't fair, but Derrick Henry was awesome this year. Yeah. And that takes away what added to Lamar last year, because as great as he has been, last year his statistics were good. Correct. The dude won. and he won with a beaten up team, and they got the number 1 seed. That way he earned it. I just don't think you can have it both ways. And listen, if it's the worst thing you say about Lamar is he hasn't won his 3rd MVP, honestly, it's not me. I think it's better for him to not win. I want to see Lamar have success, not at the expense of the Bills. I would have loved to have seen them beat the Chiefs last year. Like, I
100%
like Lamar. But if you rack up 3 MVPs and you don't win in the playoffs, it almost becomes a weight on him. So not that he's sitting there thinking, I'm glad I didn't win. And by the way, I wanted to say this to you. The Bills obviously knew Josh had won, right? I mean, everybody was there. They had their social media team ready with tweets on stuff with they knew that he had won.
Well, they knew he would going to win something.
I think the league tells them, because, I mean, I think there's places Brandon Beane and Sean would rather be than the site of the Super Bowl this week.
That's fair.
I think they were there to support Josh in a big moment.
Yeah.
And I would love to see Deion win. At some point, he's going to win that. By the way, Deion, the star, not only did he get to say it was Josh, which was great, but, every other thing with Deion, fantastic. Big day for Deion. Big night.
Did you see, I just tweeted out that Deion was blocking blocking McCoy and Kurt Warner on the stage as Josh went up there. I was like, that's a true blindside guy. Like,
he is.
Hey, we're still protecting Josh as he goes up to win his award. And I loved talking a little bit about his speech. Loved his speech. Loved that he, shout out Slick Rick, like in the mailroom. Like, shout out to him, Josh.
Slick Rick.
I thought it was great. He gave credit to the team because that's what Deion had been saying. Deion's like, there's no best offensive lineman award, but he goes, if Josh wins one, which he now has, he goes, I got a piece of that. That whole team gets a piece of that, especially in Buffalo where they haven't won the Super Bowl yet. And where this fan base is wanting something to put on a mantle and say, look at this. Hey, we're a great story. We're a great team. We've come up short. You can see all the scars on the other side of your rec room, Mike. But it's like, hey, we also got this on the mantle, and this is pretty damn cool. So, shout out. And then the ending will be on every billboard. Will be on a sign outside every church in Western New York. The do good, be good, God bless, go Bills. I thought Josh it was awesome. And also, he also wins the FedEx Air and Ground Player. Yes. And then he also wins the Art Rooney Sportsmanship Award, which is just perfect for a guy that was voted back in August the #1 trash talker. And I guess I didn't even think about it too. He was also the most overrated player voted by some people around the league. So
I would say
this was a cool double bird to a lot of those surveys during the offseason.
I would say that overrated thing gets overstated a little bit.
Yeah.
There's a few people that said it, and one idiot front office guy that Bean went after, which was true because
there are idiots everywhere, Mike.
Yes, it's right. That's what Bean said. It really is. He's not overrated. These guys are all great. They are incredible players, playing at the highest level against each other. What I wanted to talk about, what this means for Josh. So while we're watching, it's also the time when they announce the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
And I know fans have said, like Josh Allen is going to be, he's no doubt Hall of Famer and all those things. And I think he will be.
Correct.
This helps a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to make the Hall of Fame. Now, Josh is going to have a lot more years to play, and he's going to make a Super Bowl or 2 or whatever. And I think he's going to win one. I really believe that. I think he may win another MVP or more. Like, I think all that is out there for him. But if you don't do those things, you put up numbers, which are great, but you never know how your career goes in terms of how they're voted.
Yeah.
I looked at all the quarterbacks who had made the Hall of Fame because I was looking at the Eli Manning thing. And every one of those guys had been an MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, or at least first team All-Pro. Yes. Every one of them.
Eli wasn't.
Eli isn't. And no question, he should not be a first ballot guy. I think eventually he will get in.
Yeah.
But first ballot, I mean, listen, Jim Kelly made it on first ballot, and that was awesome. And I love Jim. And he got to 4 Super Bowls, was named AFC or NFL Offensive Player of the Year, made the all-pro team. So he did those things.
Correct.
And playing against tremendous competition at the time, just like Josh is. I mean, we're talking
And the
about
AFC championships and the run.
Yes, Montana, Marino, Elway, this is Warren Moon, like all those guys were around at the time. So the only reason I say this is, boy, these are nice to have on the resume. Yeah. And it's now 4-time finalist, whatever it is, for the MVP and a winner. And somewhere, I don't know where he finished in the past on Offensive Player of the Year, but an AP All-Pro second team, all those things. These are individual things, but when he does get the gold jacket, those things matter a lot.
Yeah.
And then getting to the Super Bowl obviously is the biggest thing. But it's nice because honestly, when you hear those criticisms of Eli, now he wasn't anywhere near the player. Sorry, Giants fans, in the regular season,
right,
that Josh Allen has been. It's not even close.
Yeah.
But Eli made 2 great runs to get to the Super Bowl and made it. That's what's going to get him in there someday.
Yeah, and you talk about it, we compare him to, what tier are the quarterbacks on, and at times we have even said resume-wise, Josh is not play-wise, like not if you're starting a team. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying the caliber of player. But in some sense, Josh has been behind a Burrow. He's been behind a Hurts because they have AFC Championship, NFC Championship on their resume. MVPs. Like that's part of it. So I'm with you that this is huge for the grand scheme of things. But again, I do think that it does. Again, it's really cool to see the no-star recruit from Fireball, the guy that I think some Bills fans that you're watching now and you're big Buffalo Plus fans and you comment and you subscribe, you may have been like, really? We're taking the kid from Wyoming? And this is a pretty cool validation for that process, this fandom, this group, this Bills Mafia. They deserve this. I think that's what Josh has done such a good job. The video that the Bills put out of the kids from the Children's Hospital, unbelievable video. And to have Josh there, and again, it goes back to the Jenna's posted, some of her retweets of tweets. Myself and Indy, like some things are bigger than sports, and I know we always talk about that killer instinct and that leadership, and Josh has risen to that occasion. Sean McDermott said this year, like we don't accomplish anything without Josh Allen's leadership this year. Some things are bigger than sports, and Josh checks all of those things off of the field and everything he does. So it is even cooler to see that, in his video, his part of it where he's like, I didn't want to cry tonight. And then he kind of goes, I just play football. Like it really puts into perspective the type of person he is on top of the player that he is on the field. And to get the recognition from both is pretty damn cool.
Now, I will also criticize Josh Allen for this. He has ruined it for even current or future Buffalo Bills players. Because you can't do better than he's doing. And I mean, as the best player, the leader, community guy. Listen, Dion is up there as man of the year. Dion is an all-time Bill for his play on the field and all the other stuff. But Josh is the quarterback. And Jim Kelly was incredible for the Bills, right?
Yeah.
And he did so much and rebuilt the franchise from where they were. But Josh, and Jim says, I mean, Josh is the best player that's ever played quarterback for the Bills, certainly. And so you say like he's done this, and then as a teammate, and we see it, and there's times when you're like, man, I don't know if anybody else, it's not like other guys are bad guys or they're not doing it, but I don't know where he has the time or the bandwidth to be accommodating all the time. There's got to be so much going on in his head of all the things that impact him. But I will give him this. When you see him, and he's not the only one, but when you see him with those kids, he is so present with those kids. It's not, hey, buddy, let me sign this for you and go. Like that is what
you see it at training camp. You see it at and again, from what we have heard, because all my friends, the first thing they always ask me is Josh really like? Is Josh really a nice guy? And I say, like, we hear things about players, right? I've never heard a negative thing. Not to say that I'm hearing negative things. I don't want my words twisted.
Right.
I'm not saying I'm hearing negative things about other players, but we hear things. And for me to confidently say everything I hear is Josh Allen is that good of a person. And we've heard he does visits at the hospital that there's not cameras. It's not a PR stunt. He does it out of the kindness of and understanding his cachet, understanding what he means to those kids, and understanding his role as the star franchise quarterback. So that's really cool.
We always talk self-awareness is a big thing in life in general, but his self-awareness to know who he is for the team.
Yeah.
But at the same time, not overplaying that, never using it. He's just aware of it.
Yep.
And he knows what it's like when he walks out there at camp. That's why he acts the way he does, because he knows what it means. And he's talked about what it means to those kids, or when he goes to the hospital, or how he is with his teammates. And by the way, we're not pretending. We know him.
Correct.
I guess we know him a little more than other people because we are around him in individual moments with just a small group at times, but we don't really know. So we're not trying to pretend that no one's a perfect person, but in the role he has with this franchise, you couldn't ask for more. The thing he'll want to do, as much as you guys want him to do it, is take a team to the Super Bowl. That's what's next for him. And like I said, I think it's coming because the Bills fans deserve it and he deserves it.
I don't think the hair's getting cut.
You know who said it to me? Jenny, my wife, said to me, "Did he cut his hair?" And I go, "No." By the way, he is not Hollywood. He is not.
No.
But on the red carpet, they look like a Hollywood couple.
Yeah. It was.
But he's not Hollywood. He's Fireball. He's Buffalo.
Yes.
But
looks good in shorts and a suit. So it was a really cool night.
I will say this. It's like when Tiger Woods would come to the PGA with Elin, his wife at the time. Yeah. And I said, you are incredible when they walk out somewhere and all the guys look at Tiger. So Josh walks out and his famous, pretty Hollywood singing girlfriend.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, Josh, that guy that is like, oh yeah. There's Josh. He just is. He just is. So God bless him. He deserves it. But man, he's not, it's no BS. He really would want to be putting on the uniform Sunday. And that's what Bills fans can hold on to.
Yeah. Again, it was just a cool night especially for Josh, his family, his mom and dad. Again, I thought it was a perfect speech. And just a cool night for Bills fans. So they deserve it.
Yeah.
And again, I wouldn't have been shocked if Lamar won it. Josh is the first quarterback since 1987. Elway won the MVP then when Joe Montana was named first team All-Pro. So it has happened before. 2012, Peterson won it over the quarterback, and then it was the split a few years when McNair split it with Manning. So,
because think about back then, Joe Montana had a great year. He also had Jerry Rice running passes, and John Elway had you and me at wide receiver. So
why can't people just put into context that there is some, like, that was the other thing too, is that Foxworthy's like, you use valuable to twist it however you want. It's valuable is the word that is used in the award. Like that, like
the words.
Like you say, like, oh, you're trying to split it. I don't know.
One last thing. Shout out to DeMar. He's never going to win comeback player of the year for what he came back from. And then it's Joe Flacco. And listen, Burrow came back, a big injury. That's what it's been. But
big injury. Okay.
I know.
I'm sorry. I'm not taking anything away from Joe. Like, he was great.
Imagine being back-to-back years comeback player of the year candidate.
From dying. Dying on a football field.
So I'm going to give him the Buffalo Plus comeback player of the year for one of these 2 years. He should have won it last year.
I do find it funny, and I'm not trying to make too much light of it, but it's like Flacco came back from the couch, and Joe Burrow came back from a wrist injury. And again, I don't understand the qualifications really to some respects of what the comeback player.
It's fine.
I also don't really know why DeMar was nominated this year to some respect.
I guess because they looked at it more like an injury from the year before, and then he came back and he started all year.
Yeah.
So yes, I guess, yes, that in that way, football wise, he sort of wasn't on the field very much, and then he played the whole time. But yeah, he's not going to win it. I don't want to see him ever have to be nominated again, but we'll give him the Buffalo Plus comeback player.
Yeah. Plenty more content will continue. Mike, can I get one?
Go Birds.
Thank you.
By the way, I here's what I would tell a Bills fan. And listen, Eagles fans, I know we can be obnoxious. We can be annoying.
Oh.
But just take a moment. First of all, they were back in the days when, when you're getting close with Andy Reid, and that's very similar to what Bills fans are going through now. But I will tell you this. Just picture for a second Travis Kelce holding up that trophy, screaming some Kansas City thing and yelling to Taylor Swift. If you think about that, you are going to be wearing green Sunday and just saying, please, I don't care how, just get it done.
I wish I could be a fly on the wall at your brother's house, because to hear the story of the Brandon Graham strip sack and Mike going, there's still time. There's still time.
That's the way I watch football. I am yes, there was still time.
I just love the fact of, again, I'm irrational about the Atlanta Braves. I am not sane when it comes to those. So I'm glad that you get to experience this stage for you once again as an Eagles fan. So,
well, here's what it is. They came back and beat Brady after losing to him the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're back again trying to beat Mahomes after losing to him the first time. And the last time they won the Super Bowl, Brian Dawkins made the Hall of Fame. This time, Eric Allen. By the way, big night for Allens. Jared Allen, Eric Allen, Josh Allen. Big Allen's night.
So. All right. Thanks for hopping in, Mike, from the family rec room. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, enjoy the weekend or not. Hate watch the Super Bowl if you want. We will have coverage. We'll put a bow on the Bills season coming up next week. We'll start doing superlatives, best plays, and really kind of gearing more towards the offseason. Talk more Myles Garrett, and the combine is right around the corner. Mike and I will be at Elmo's once again.
Damn right.
All right. Thanks again for watching here on the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel. From Mike Catalana, I'm Dan Fates. We'll catch you here next time. Thanks for watching.